There's no sound on this, is there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'll do that again then. Right, 3, 2, 1. Oh yes.
How are
Right,
you?
Vuj, how are we, sir?
Right,
Take
me.
a seat. Welcome to the new terrace.
We're having a nice.
We are having a nice indeed. And oh, look.
Hello! Yay!
Joelah Noble, take a seat. How are we?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Of course, this is episode 2 of the new terrace, presented by myself, AGT, the new content series where we look at the past, present, and future of terrace culture. Now, both of you are big terrace heads. So let's waste no time in getting into the questions. So Vuj, tell me some of the games you've been to and some of the cities that you've watched football in and how maybe terrace culture out there is different to here in the UK.
Oh wow! I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start. I've been to like Champions League finals. I've been to loads of Liverpool away games.
Love that.
But I think the games that most impact me are when I go and watch Red Star Belgrade, because they're
Back in your home?
back in my homeland. You know, the ultras. You know, it sort of hasn't got the name of terrace culture, but it's been influenced so much by British terrace culture. The way people dress, the Stonies, the Fred Perrys, the tracksuits, huge influence. But I'd say, yeah, going to those games, they're the maddest ones, because once you go into the terrace or the cop or whatever you want to call it, and everyone's standing behind that goal, it's like you can be in a trance when you start chanting. I think it's like a church.
Yeah.
I think football is
Place of
like
worship,
a religion.
isn't it?
Your football chants are your
hymns.
songs of worship, your
Yeah.
hymns. You know, you've got the church, which is the stadium. You've got this community of people supporting this team, and the energy can be absolutely amazing. And I think one of my favorite games I went to was Olympiacos against Red Star, and I was in the away end. So there was only like a few thousand of us, but it was rocking.
I mean, that stadium is so intimidating. Liverpool played there and lost.
Yeah, Liverpool lost 2-0. Yeah, to Red Star.
And I remember when you go through that tunnel, I mean, I haven't been through the tunnel, but when the players did and there's writing on the walls, they have the noise so loud. I mean, it's half scary, to be honest with you.
It genuinely is. I went to the derby, Partizan against Red Star, and I got to go through that tunnel with media, and we filmed on the Olympic track.
Yeah.
And you think like, the tracks, they make you lose atmosphere. Once I exited the tunnel, I just turned around, and you just hear the noise. No, it's just.
That sounds powerful.
Honestly, it's so powerful.
Obviously,
it's a different
all of
energy.
us Liverpool fans as well. So
Yes.
so that's great.
Football fan and Liverpool fan.
Yeah, of course.
But
Football fan first. But Joelah, I mean, it's clear to see, and we touched on it in the last episode, how music and fashion and football are so intertwined.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you think they all combine so well together?
I mean, with not just with football though, like with sport
Yeah, of course.
in general, but especially football, it's a source of inspiration. So I talk to football players, I interview them, and I'm like, what do you listen to when you're training? Like, what do you listen to after a game when you've just won a match or something? And it's music, like they are inspired by music the same way musicians are inspired by football. And of course fashion is kind of intertwined into each of these sectors, right? Because we've got the kit first of all, but then of course we've got the terrace fashion, and then with music as well, as an artist you're gonna put on clothes that you want people to see you in, you're gonna be stunting on them. So it's all so intertwined, and I think it boils down to inspiration, and each of these sectors are inspired by each other.
Yeah, totally. That's why it's kind of a subculture that's merged together almost. I mean, we talk about brands you mentioned before, Stone Island, CP Company. These were brands that are really pioneering the terrace culture at the time. Obviously, PUMA was there as well. I mean, how has Drake, for example, transcended terrace culture? Because let's be honest, 10, maybe 15 years ago, Stone Island was worn by the hooligans, the scallies on the terraces, and now Drake's wearing it.
Now you get Drizzy.
How has he transcended that culture even more?
I'm not sure if Drake actually knows where it comes from.
I think he does know, you know.
I think we just know that Drake loves UK culture, UK fashion, and so he's jumped on that, and rightly so, because it's banging, you know, it looks good. But when you think of like a Stone Island badge, you think of power, you think of money, you think of the idea of like holding your own
But that's
ground.
not where it started. It was literally, you might wear it as a form of tribalism. If you were, I don't know, going to West Ham away and they were all in Stony, you might be in Puma or you might be in CP, and it was almost like who can look the best, but also who can win on the pitch as well.
I don't even think, like, let's say football fans, if I go back home, I don't think they even I think they're even aware that Drake has done this, because they're so much in their own world. And I remember like going back home to Serbia before Drake wore it, Stony was like, if you wear Stony, you're a football fan and you're potentially a dangerous football fan. So it almost like ups your level of danger on the credibility on the street when you're walking around on the streets. It's like, oh, he's got a Stony, maybe he's part of a group, because it was so associated with football. It's mad how like this has come from England. Then you have like Italians, Serbs, Russians, wherever you go, these statement kind of pieces are so known. It's mad how it just kind of goes into different directions. So
It's amazing.
It's crazy, man.
Talk to me about how Terrace Culture has impacted your fashion identity. Not only if you're working in football, obviously you're both presenters in the football game, what you wear off the pitch as well when the camera's not on. I mean, I know what you wear. I'm your friend anyway, so I can see what you're wearing. And to me, I'm like, he is a product of his environment with what he wears. It's expressionism.
Yeah. No, a lot of expressionism, and I think for me, it's a lot of influences from different parts of the world, and growing up in London. But football has been a huge part of that. Obviously, football shirts, I've got like over 200.
Over 200 football
Yeah,
shirts.
there's a lot.
Can I borrow some?
Yeah, maybe. There's a lot, but it's so hard to give them away because there's like an emotional attachment to every shirt. It's like, no, but this one's this,
I
this
can
one's
help
that.
you. Don't worry.
Yeah, maybe I'll give you a couple. But it's influenced me because I remember when I was younger, my mum said to me, "What do you want to be when you're older?" And I said, "I want to be an ultra." I want to be like a football fan. And she was like,
I love that.
She was like, so how are you going to get paid being this?
Yeah.
And then
So where does
I don't know, I just want to be like leading the chants of the stadium, you know? So I think it's always sort of had an impact. And when I started going to games over there, when I go back home and I go on like holiday, I always make sure I go to a game. And it was almost like it's some sort of like virus that infects you. And even now when I'm a lot more calm and sort of in touch with myself, whenever I enter that stadium and I see the stands bouncing and
you can't beat that feeling.
And people, you know, they're wearing, as I said, like bucket hats and they got their tracksuit zipped up. It's still how I dress today, and it still enters my wardrobe and my expression. Maybe sometimes in the way I walk. There's so many little things to this sort of, I guess, a niche of fashion and football and culture per se. So for me, it's had a huge influence. Comfort as well. You've got to be comfortable. Because, you know, some of them might be running, you know, to meet another group and have some sort of tussle or run away from the police or whatever. You've got to be comfortable. But even in the stand, when you're in the stands, you've got to be comfortable because over there, when you're behind the goal, there's no sitting down. Yeah. And it's like free man to a seat sometimes. And, you know, there's standing in front of the seat, people on the seat, people behind, and then it's just, you have to be comfortable. You can't be there looking, dressing nice. And so there's a bit of rawness to it too. Sorry, I've waffled on.
No,
amazing.
I just love it. You know?
I was going to say in terms of the weather as well, you need to make sure that you're comfortable in terms of the weather and you're wearing the right stuff.
Like when I've stood on the cop before, no matter how sunny it is, it's always cold.
It's a bit cold.
It's very cold.
It's
you know, it's very old school. But that kind of feeling when you're with your people, you're on the stands, you know, your team might be losing. But what is it, Joelah, about looking good and going to the matches? Do you know what I mean? Because people want to make sure that they're looking good, even if their team might not be playing well. But their first thought when they go to that game is, what am I going to listen to? What am I going to wear? And what's the starting lineup today?
I mean, because people were watching you. Do you know what I mean? It's also like a fashion show as well. I did read the other day as well that it was kind of like the beginning of Hypebeast culture.
Pretty much.
Yeah, in the UK, which I find really interesting as well, because again, I don't know if someone like Drake even knows something like that. But they kind of started off where they didn't want to get noticed by the popo because obviously they would go in to do some tussling.
Yeah, there was a lot of violence back in the day. It's faded out a lot more now, but carry on. Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to go to a football game and try and fight people. Not now, you know. Maybe back in the day I would have done that, but right now I'm not going to do that. So it was for them to like infiltrate that scene and like not be outed by the popo as like, oh, you're a hooligan. So they would dress really nice. And then it became a thing where, you know, the fans are going to different European countries and they're seeing different designers that they don't get access to in the UK. Totally. And so they're coming back and they've got the new swag that no one really seen. So I just think it's fashion, you know, it's also interlinked. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think when Liverpool won the European Cup in '81, there was a lot of stories about how the Scousers would have gone to Paris for that final and brought back some bits and bobs. I think if your team wasn't playing in Europe in the 70s and 80s, I mean, this is why they say that Liverpool and Man United, or Liverpool and Manchester started this culture. Two successful clubs going back and forth in Europe. If you weren't around in Europe during those times, you might have caught on to the subculture a little bit later than the other cities.
100%. I mean, I wasn't raised in England. I was raised in New York. So
for real?
Yeah. From when I was like 5 to about 13, I was in Brooklyn.
Very British for...
Yeah, I came back when I was very young.
No, sometimes it goes in early and you might get a little New
When she gets angry though, trust me.
Yeah, oh my God.
Trust me, there's certain Brooklyn...
Get out of here, you!
First of all, I never used to look like this. It was like this, all right? Don't talk to me, all right?
You got it.
But, so yeah, I'm one of those people that when I came back, it was like, oh, this is a whole different look. We don't have this in Brooklyn. We had baggy jeans and like t-shirts that came to your knees. That's what they were wearing, you know, and me some days on the weekend.
I think the inception of terrace culture really came to life, I'd say, in the 90s when you had the likes of Blur, Oasis, Happy Mondays, these kind of bands coming through. They definitely influenced, even to this day. I mean, you can walk down the road and you might see someone wearing head to toe Adidas, or, you know, it could be Puma as well, and you think, oh, well, he listens to Oasis, and it kind of becomes this thing where even though you might mention or see someone wearing something, you say, okay, that's fashion. They might be listening to some music, but it all kind of, again, like what we were talking about before, it all intertwines, and you can pretty much, by looking at someone, Vuj, their outfit, 100%. You can kind of paint the picture of them, can't you?
100%. Any sort of game you go to, you can sort of spot what a football fan is, what kind of football fan.
Interesting.
And I feel like, especially
there's different fans.
Yeah, especially like when you go to away games, because that's the most loyal fan base of a club. Yeah. There it tends to be the most intense, and I think that's where you see terrace culture and the fashion of the terraces much more magnified when it's away games, because there's no tourists really. These are the most loyal fans, and I think that's where you see the fashion much more as well.
What does it mean nowadays to be a terrace casual? I mean, there was obviously negative connotations in the 70s and 80s when there was a lot of violence. But nowadays, obviously the brand and the culture, and it's so interchangeable now. What does it mean to be a casual or a terrace-going fan?
I think for me to say that, I wouldn't say I fit into that. I think I'm more of a passionate visitor of the terrace culture. I don't think I'm like so... It would be ignorant of me to be like, yeah, this is what it is. Yeah. I think it's about following your club. It's about, I guess, being with your tribe and giving you that meaning on the weekend that you're going to see your people and you're going to support your club no matter what, win, lose, sleet, rain, shine, you're going to be there behind your club. And that intertwines into the clothing as well, what you wear. You know, it's a group mentality. It's almost like it's tribalism. It's that sort of human need to belong, and I think that's what terrace culture really, really is. But, you know, I'm more of like a football fan. I've lived all over the world, and I've moved around a lot in life. So for me, I think I'm more of a appreciator of it rather than so heavily involved.
Yeah, no, it's obvious that you know a lot about it, and you'll continue to go to games. You'll continue to pick up little bits and bobs.
That's it. I love that. I love a little cap from a game. That's what I love as well. That's what Liverpool fans do as well. I've noticed when they go to like away games. They'll get like a Red Star Belgrade cap, and it's like when they go to Liverpool, they wear it at Liverpool games. So it's like, oh, he's been to the away game. That becomes sort of a sign of. There's so these little things that people do. It's awesome, man. It is really cool.
Like I mentioned, obviously both of you and myself work in football. Joelah, tell us about some of the players that you've spoken to and what their kind of off-pitch personality is, because these guys are all into their music and fashion as well.
Yeah. Do you know what? I haven't had the chance to interview any Liverpool players, so that actually breaks my heart.
Not yet. You've
You
interviewed a lot of Liverpool
Nearly
players.
everyone.
Yeah. No, it's coming. It's coming because I'm doing this Premier League stuff. But I've interviewed like Lucas Moura, Mikel Antonio. I will say
Baller.
Yeah, he is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's lovely, isn't it?
We had a little sing-off. So that was quite interesting. And you know what? I tend to have sing-offs with the football players. I've done that a couple times now, so that's fun. I realised they are crazy about their fashion as well. Ollie McBurney, he's a big sneakerhead just like me. That's what we connect on as well. So it's special. It's special. But whoever I've interviewed, they've all been cool guys, you know.
Yeah. Listen, more interviews with Liverpool players for all of us.
We've got to make that happen.
Let's look to the future. We've spoken about the origins of Terrace Culture. You're wearing Kid Super, a track jacket there. You've got the jersey on as well. Let's get a close-up look at these, Vuj. I mean, we're talking about the future of Terrace Culture. This, for me, is completely just unique in the way it looks and feels as well. Great texture to it. Talk to me about what the future now of Terrace Culture looks like, especially right now there's no fans in stadiums, but...
The future is Zoom.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully
that's the present.
Yeah, that's the present. Zoom and VAR.
Yeah.
But on a more lighter note, I can see it becoming a lot more expressive.
Well, this is a perfect example of it, isn't it?
Very expressive. I think the youngsters that are going to games now, the music they're consuming as well, the social media aspect of everything, I think being expressionate and showing your individuality has become much more of a thing in maybe youth culture right now. So I can see it becoming a lot more colourful, and maybe shirts like this would be fitting in the stands. I think with the old school guys, you know how it is with the old school guys. Even me, sometimes I'll turn up in a bright yellow jacket. They're like, they do look at you like, who are you? Why are you here dressed like this? But I can see it going the more Kid Super route, because the kids are, it's changing.
Kid Super, design outlet from New York, where you're obviously from, born and bred.
I was born in London.
Well, born in London, but then in New York,
bred in New
and
York,
then back again. For me, this jersey screams the 90s. And I see that all fashion things, I guess, come back. It's very cyclical. What's the word?
Cyclical.
Cyclical, that's the word I was looking for, cyclical. What do you think of the Kid Super kind of range? Obviously, you got the tracksuits, the away jersey there as well, looking good.
I'm actually obsessed with the Kid Super stuff, honestly. And obviously, like, we're talking about football and Kid Super, they're also all about football. As you can see, we've got the heart football here. And I just think it's so perfect, especially for right now. It's all creative, if you have a closer look without getting too deep, but it looks like it's like watercolor kind of art stuff. It's just so sick.
Very true, actually.
Honestly, I really love it. I'm just trying to get my hands on a pair of the Kid Super trainers.
These bad boys?
Anyone, that one, the other two, you know, 4.5, just let you guys know.
Right, let's look at some trainers now. Obviously, the Terrace offering from Puma represents 4 cities across the world. We've already covered the New Yorks and the Madrids as well. Let's today look at the Amsterdams. Now, these are a real favourite for me. These are actually based on the Royal Cruyffs, which were the signature sneaker of legendary Ajax and Holland captain Johan Cruyff. We've all done a Cruyff turn before, haven't we, mate?
Badly, but yeah.
Yeah, well, not too great even myself. But talk to me about these. I mean, orange always goes with Holland. Their national team is called La Orange. That's a bit French there, to be fair. But
orange.
Talk to me about these. A remake from the 80s, a real nice shoe.
Classic, man. Yeah, this is very representative, I think, of Terrace Culture. The classic shape, silhouette.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Toes fitting well, nice and sleek, bang. No, they're good. Nice colourway as well, like the blue and the orange and the, I don't know what you call this colour at the bottom, the material.
It's like a
rubber?
Yeah, a rubber beige sole there, I think.
Man, classic.
Like you said, a great silhouette for Terrace Culture.
I'm an alternative guy.
You are, but these colours...
High top.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, the terraces are more low top, aren't they?
Yeah, so you're wearing high tops to a match?
I've worn like Nike Yeezys to a match, and I saw the Scouser came up to me and was like, "What are you wearing fucking moon boots, mate? What are those?"
That's the Scousers for you.
Hey
love
man,
them.
they're Yeezys, bro. You know, I mix it all up. But I do like them, but I'm more of a high top kind of guy. But this for the OG terrace guys, this is the one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm universal, baby. I like high tops, low tops. The only thing I don't really wear are mids, to be honest.
me
Mids are
too.
strange.
Where are you?
They don't know what they want to be.
What are you going to wear with them? It's weird.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I personally really love this, especially the colorway. You know, I like bright colors as well. So, and the fact that I love Amsterdam as well, it just helps with the situation. The fabric is amazing. I like the little suction cups at the bottom as well, you know, so you don't slip over when it's like a frozen.
And if you step in poo,
surface.
it's easier to clean up.
Exactly. I mean,
great
PUMA
point.
really think about
They
these
do
things.
think about these things, yeah, because the city's dangerous, man. People don't clean up their dog poo.
It's true though.
We got
honestly.
Puma.
Big up PUMA, exactly.
Let's have a look at the other
Haven't stepped in
trainers
poo in
today.
a while though, so
Yeah, let's
Same.
hope that
Can't
carries on
catch
for
me,
some
bro.
time. Yeah.
Jinx yourself.
Come
now.
on.
So the Amsterdams there, I'm a huge fan of these. Also, I know we keep going on about Liverpool, but we have Ajax in the Champions League. So we're denied of a great away day in Amsterdam, where I definitely would have worn these. But the next time I do go to Amsterdam, there's only one shoe for me, and that is these, the Bluebird Amsterdams from PUMA. Let's get into these. Another classic, the St. Petersburg.
Okay.
These, again, are a remake from 1982. Let's get a look at this colourway. Inspired by Cardiff City, actually, these ones. These are the Bluebird St. Petersburg. I mean, Eastern Bloc vibes.
a bit Eastern
Talk to me.
Blocky. Yeah, you know what? It's inspired by Cardiff, but it's got the Slavic colours of the red and the blue and the white.
True.
Which, you know, the Russian flag is white, blue, red. So I don't know if they did that on purpose or not. I'm sure they did.
I feel like they did.
Yeah.
Right, I know it's a Cardiff, but this, for me, definitely is a Slavic type shoe. It's also the colours of Serbia, so I could see me rocking this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
can
orange
definitely
is
see
bright.
it in there.
The orange is bright.
I see you wearing those definitely. Even though they're low, I see you rocking those.
I'm going for
Rog.
the oranges.
I mean, there's a lot of different sneaker brands do City Series. We've all seen it, but I think specifically with this one, with Puma, I think the St. Petersburg, the Amsterdams, the Madrids, and you've got Rome's as well. These are cities that have obviously been hand-picked by Puma, and they represent. I mean, they must have done a lot of research in these cities to come up with the trainer that represents that terrace culture in that city.
Because Russians, man, I mean, I went there for the World Cup. They've got a strong terrace culture over there.
Sick.
They don't mess about. And St. Petersburg it's a beautiful city, man. You wouldn't think it's such an artistic city. The way it looks aesthetically, it's amazing. There's like canal. It's almost like Venice. It's got like canals. You can go on a boat onto the river.
Nice.
Beautiful. But Zenit St. Petersburg, they don't mess around. The terrace culture there, real.
Yeah.
It's real. So I think they picked a good city for that.
I think these are beautiful. I really like it. I like the contrast of the tongue and the rest of the side panels and all of that. How it's white and then the blue and the red. I think it's really nice. I love it.
Yeah,
Makes me want to go to St. Petersburg, especially after
literally,
that.
I'm on travelling
What
to
a
all these
city.
places now, and I think the funny thing about Cardiff is obviously they were traditionally always blue, but then their owner came in and made them red. So I could actually see, and then they've switched back to blue now for their home kit. So I can actually see a lot of Cardiff City fans wearing these, to be fair. But no, really keen on the St. Petersburg, another classic in the terrace offering that Puma have.
There's a New York version of this as well, right?
The New Yorks, yeah, we looked, these ones.
Oh, I like the New York.
So you got the New Yorks as well.
Oh,
Because they got a bit of a
nice.
bowling shoe vibe to them.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Absolutely.
You're right.
But I like them. Those are maybe my favourites, actually, the New Yorks.
I thought
think
they
that-
would be a bit of you, actually.
These
They
are
are.
so
Yeah.
nice.
I like the green blocking in the middle.
Yes, so nice.
It's a nice colour.
Is this the one that was inspired by the American footballer?
Yes,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
So the Bluebird NYC is based on American Football Hall of Famer Joe Namath in the 70s. It's amazing to see how a shoe from the 70s can look so good today. I mean, these are probably your favourites, aren't they?
Yeah, I like them. I like the green blocking with the... And even the rubber sole at the bottom is like a little... What colour is that?
It's a yellowy
Like
vibe,
yellowy,
isn't it?
Yeah, I like
That's
them.
probably a
Off-white,
specific
kinda.
name for it, but
I like them.
I can't think of the name of it.
Maybe like a cream, perhaps.
Beige.
A cream.
It's a bit lighter than a beige.
Like a dirty yellow.
It's that colour that
yellow.
people like paint their walls that's not white.
Yeah.
Magnolia?
There we go. Magnolia.
That's the colour.
It's like a council flat white.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Not totally white.
My toilet's like that, so I know. I mean, not in a bad way, but that's just my toilet colour.
Well, hopefully
Yeah.
give it a clean now and again, mate. But no, big fans of the St. Petersburgs and the Amsterdams as well. Should we look at some classics, the PUMA Suedes next? Let's get into that. So the PUMA Suedes then, guys, an absolute OG, hit the scene in 1968 and it's been changing and cultivating cultures since then. Let's get a look at these boys. From the 80s B-boys to today's hustler, it's been worn by icons of every generation and it has stayed classic throughout. I feel, guys, like this shoe is your introduction to PUMA shoe. It's a classic,
100%.
isn't it?
Yeah.
100%. I had one. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go.
I came in first. No, I had a blue high top version of these suede. I wore them for years.
I had the
15,
black high tops.
19. Black one, the black ones.
Yeah, I remember
Banging
Pro
shoe,
Green
man.
used to wear them because he had a deal with Puma and it just got me hooked on these. But talk to me about these, Joelah, because like I said, if anyone is to think of a Puma trainer, the first one I would say is the suede. And there's obviously the Dallases, the baskets that are very similar. But you just can't beat the classics.
I mean, you said it, it's classic, you know. I know growing up in Brooklyn, New York, these, in the 80s and 90s, I mean, I didn't grow up in the 80s, but I do know throughout the 80s and 90s, this is what like the B-boys and that used to wear, like the Pumas with the fat laces.
Yeah, the fat laces.
Do you know what I mean? Like they gotta be the fat laces. I think they're beautiful, they're timeless, and yeah, I can't wait to wear these myself actually.
Yeah, I think when the football does come back, I know we're all missing the terraces desperately now and we want to get back to the stadiums, but with this new release of the Puma Terrace shoes, it's likely we're going to see a lot more suedes, a lot more Amsterdam, St. Petersburgs, New Yorks, Madrid, Londons on the terraces again. Tell us how much you miss going to the games though, bro.
Bruv, man, it's so sad. I mean, look, the results on the pitches have been very erratic. And I think that's been a huge reason for that is there is no fans, there's no home atmosphere, there's no real home advantage now. Now it's Villa can beat Liverpool 7-2. Do you know what I mean? And United are losing 6-1. I think
at home
we can't really predict results as much. It'll be good to see like if they can compare, maybe after the season, compare the results with no fans and with fans and how much that impacts home advantage. So it's huge, man. I'm tired of the fake noise as well. Sometimes they get it wrong, you know, hit side netting, and then it's like, wah! It's like, then go in and they change the noise to like, you know, that's.
But would you rather that or
no noise?
like silence? And obviously you hear like the managers and the players.
I like that.
I like that as well.
That. I'm not going to
I prefer
lie.
the silence, I think.
Yeah.
But now I've been indoctrinated and brainwashed. Now I'm like, I'll go with the noise. But it isn't football.
Yeah.
Football without fans is nothing.
Yeah, there's no chanting as well. I just realised there's actually no chanting.
There's just nothing. And
So-
it's like the Matrix with them screens.
It is.
Do you
It
know what I
literally
mean?
is like an episode of Black Mirror. Looking forward then, the future of Terrace Culture. Of course, this is the new Terrace. With no fans being in the stadium, do you think this will maybe halt the Terrace Culture a little bit? I mean, it's obviously been paused, but you know, even still, fans are still watching the games together. They still want to look good. So, what does the future hold?
I don't know.
It's tough to predict what the new Terrace
Predicting
is.
the future in general, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, because if you can't wear it, right?
If there's no terrace.
In physical spaces.
If there's no terrace, how are we doing up terrace culture?
Maybe it's balcony culture then, or kitchen culture. Or what does it change names? Like, who are you going?
Well,
what do you do?
This show is the new Terrace, so we'll stick with Terrace.
hard.
But obviously,
obviously I like
Like, who are
balcony
you
and stuff.
stunting on? If
Yeah,
you're not
that's
going
it.
to the matches.
Just Instagram, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. Twitter, Instagram. What do you do?
Instagram terrace culture.
I think we need.
The Zoom Terrace, that might be what it's called. But Joelah, tell us what you've got coming up. You're obviously massively in the football world now.
Yes, it's very exciting
It is.
actually. I'm loving it. I was saying earlier, it feels like a long lost family member that has come into my life, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how come I've gone without you for so long? So I'm super into it. I mean, it would be amazing to go to the matches and be screaming my lungs out, but instead I'm doing that at home in front of the TV alone or with a crowd, whatever it takes. That's
Rule of
just
6 though, so let's
Yeah.
a crowd of 6
small
or
crowd.
under.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
A small crowd, fine. You know,
Yeah.
That's
And if you've got a
by the
family of
rules.
7, pick one out. Someone's got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta go. You gotta get brutal
Sorry,
with it.
Dad. Get out.
Yes.
But a lot to come in the pipeline from you, yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work with Premier League, like what I was saying to you earlier, and some Amazon Prime stuff where we chat to some footballers and they go head to head in a series of kitchen table games, which is pretty fun. So yeah.
Love that.
Watch
Can't
out
wait
for
to
that.
see it. Yeah. And Vuj, I know as soon as football does come back, I'm going to see you on Match of the Day, front row, giving it all this.
I don't know.
What's to come for you, man?
You know me, man. I always come up with left field plans and ideas. So something probably quite left field will happen again. And there's so many just ideas in my head to get out. This year is a year of activation all over the gaff. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens.
Love that. Well, guys, I've been AGT from the COP TV. This has been Puma. We've really enjoyed unboxing the St. Petersburgs, the Suedes, the Amsterdams, the New Yorks, the Madrid Londons. It's been a pleasure to have both of you here. Give us a little spud there.
Have a nice.
Vuj and Joelah, have a nice, and we'll see you next time on the new Terrace. Take care.